Welcome back. Well, the SGX Nifty is indicating that we'll recoup most of the losses of yesterday's trade and in fact perhaps even get higher than that, 86 points higher as of now. 11,385 is what the SGX Nifty is indicating. We were down 96 points yesterday. Varun Lohchab is joining us, Head of Institutional Research at HDFC Securities. Varun, good morning. I wanted your thoughts first on what's happening with some of these media stocks making a big comeback, both Z and Sun TV. Z in particular, what would be your view here?
So we don't have a coverage on media sector, but basically the results were weak given the advertisement cut. Spends have been cut across sectors. That was a consistent theme in Q1, but probably as businesses normalize, I think advertisement and promotion will come back to normal. I think that's what probably market is trying to price in.
You must forgive me. I have a feeling you're going to say you're not covering this stock either, but I have to ask you, GMM Pfaudler, did you all do any in-house work on this? How do you interpret the Indian company buying the parent at what looks like peanuts?
No, sorry, we don't have coverage or any view on that stock.
Okay. Well, let me try now. Varun, good morning. On the auto space, we've seen big moves come into many of the auto ancillary names, especially the ones that supply to two-wheelers. Whether it's Endurance, Varroc Engineering, big double-digit movers there. Anything in this space that you like?
Yeah, so Endurance, we actually came up with an initiation recently, and we are quite bullish on this name. So we have been bullish on two-wheeler space. Both Hero, Bajaj have been among our top picks, within the auto sector. And then Endurance, we have come out with a buy rating, and we see it as a good quality sort of auto ancillary play on two-wheeler space. So yeah, we cover Endurance, and we are positive on that name.
Okay. Well, Varun, we are just coming to in a minute. We have an important stock that's... well, let's toss this straight away to Varun Lohchab, who has been waiting by. Varun, what do you make of the pharmaceutical space? Do you have a view on Aarti in particular, but generally the space?
Because, we have a fairly constructive view. We have them as overweights in our model portfolio as well. So within pharma, Cipla or Aurobindo are the names which we have in our model portfolio, even Torrent Pharma. Numbers were quite strong for most of the pharma companies. If you look at the surprise on the margins, both gross margins and SG&A. And while some bit of it might, go back once the scale comes up, SG&A will rise, but we believe a part of the margin expansion will sustain. Similarly, on the chemical side, we have quite a few names under coverage where we have a positive rating. So Navin Fluorine, Alkyl Amines, Balaji Amines, Galaxy Surfactants, and we have some of them as part of our model portfolio as well. So we believe this is a space where one should remain invested from a medium to long-term view. Near-term stocks have rallied quite hard, and valuations are starting to increase for a lot of these players, but so are the earnings. So overall, we maintain a constructive view, and these are some of the names which we have in our model portfolio.
Okay, Varun, I wanted your view on some of the tier 2 banks where despite fundraising and despite positive news flow, the stock prices are not moving up. Whether it's an RBL Bank, even in the frontliners, names like Kotak, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, they've started to become underperformers for a fairly long time now.
So see, banks, obviously there is a lot of doubts on the extent of NPA which will come through after once the moratorium ends. So till the time we get some clarity, on how much is book slipping out of the moratorium, we believe it's difficult for banks to outperform significantly. But at the same time, given capital has been raised by most of the banks and balance sheets are much stronger, we believe, the large banks are especially very well capitalized to tide through the, increase in moratorium and, increase in NPA once the moratorium ends. So we are quite constructive on some of these banks, but understandably so, I think they would be the lag sectors, given the leverage and the doubt on the earnings. So even if I look at this quarter, while banks' earnings did surprise positively and moratorium numbers trended down, still for FY21 and 22, our analysts did not increase the earnings estimate, and probably rightly so, because you have to keep building in the provisions as of now. So I think it will probably perform with a lag, but clearly risk reward on the large banks looks quite positive to us from a 12 to 18 month point of view. So most of the other sectors have bounced. The less leveraged names are back to pre-COVID or even higher levels. Slightly leveraged names like consumer discretionary, infra and all have also started participating now. And we believe it's a matter of time before banks also participate in the rally.
Any thoughts on SBI Life? I mean, it's entering the index now from September 25th, I think. This space has seen so much action. Would you expect some more positive moves here in names like SBI Life?
Yeah, so life insurance and SBI Life in particular, we are very positive. So we have a significant overweight in model portfolio in insurance space. And within that, SBI Life is our top pick. And while it has moved up and is now quite close to its pre-COVID levels, we still see this as a multi-year sort of a growth story, both on growth in premiums as well as even margin upside. So we are quite positive on SBI Life.
Okay. Life insurance is a multi-year life story. Thank you very much, Varun Lohchab, for leaving us with some ideas for long-term investments. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great weekend. It promises to be a wet one according to the IMD. We're going to take a break. We'll have our technical experts with us.